from an elderly man. Excuse me.
Clinton Jaws, happy Saturday night. I'm going out tonight. I want to upload this. I watched this morning, and there's some really good moments. Really good moments from last night on Bill Maher. Ben Shapiro. It's not even really possible to argue with this guy. But Bill does, and Bill, he doesn't look too good. Please like this video. It's the only thing I care about.
Which I think is true, because when you read some of the comments from people, they really are such in a bubble that they don't understand that it is happening on both sides. And I think the only way this starts to get better is if both sides admit, okay.
It has nothing to do with sides. It has to do with mental illness. But when their side does something, the left is quick to say, hey, it's both sides. It's coming from both sides.
Let's not have this debate about who started it. Let's not have the debate about who's worse.
Then don't.
Because plainly both sides do it now. And the right has done it too, a lot. Now, somebody wrote...
Let's not have the debate, but we're going to debate it.
These are looking like Civil War times. They fired the first shot at Ashley Babbitt. Okay, Ashley Babbitt was in the January 6th riot. No one was going after her. She was part of a riot that shouldn't have happened in the first place. She got killed. The second, Donald Trump. Okay, the guy who shot Donald Trump, we don't know what his politics were. That's just a disaffected nut, okay?
They're all nuts, Bill.
And the third, Trump, and the fourth, Charlie Kirk. Our side hasn't fired a bullet. Your side has fired a lot of bullets and used hammers on Nancy Pelosi's husband and used firebombs on the Governor Shapiro's house. I mean,
again, I think that if we actually want to get specific and do the litany and try to break it down, a lot of these people are indeed mentally ill, but I think that when people say political violence has to stop, to me, that's too vague. It's the same thing saying violence has to stop.
Good point.
Yes, true. How is that useful? The reality is that as somebody who receives an inordinate amount of death threats, and I know the kind of death threats that Charlie was getting, you can break down the death threats and where they are coming from. And if we are not politically correct, then we understand that if there's a shooting at a synagogue, it is very likely to be either a white supremacist or a radical Muslim. If it is a shooting of a Republican politician, it is very likely to be a trans Antifa Marxist shooter.
That is just not true. We don't know what this kid is.
We do know this kid was of the left. We do know that.
We do know what?
That this kid was of the political left. That is according to contemporaneous reporting from The Guardian as well as Tablet Magazine today.
It's 2 days out. We don't know shit, Ben.
But
we don't know shit. They never do. The internet is undefeated in getting it wrong to begin with.
Do you notice how the crowd, they usually clap for him, but they're kind of disagreeing with him. They really do go silent.
The internet is undefeated in getting it wrong to begin with.
It's not about the internet. That's about the actual reporting by mainstream accepted. The Guardian is not a right-wing.
Here's what we don't know what he is.
Well,
how are you so sure he's of the left? Now, I agree when you write on a bullet, what did he write on the bullet? Catch this
fascist, which is also a gamer thing.
Okay, but now I'm hearing he may have been part of that group for whom Charlie Kirk was not right-wing enough.
You mean the Groypers, yes. I mean, so...
Why would he even go there? How stupid. That is so dumb that you're actually even thinking. I like Bill, okay? But what a weird thing to say. We're not going to debate
part of that group for whom Charlie Kirk was not right-wing enough.
You mean the Groypers, yes. I mean, so that would...
You're sure he's not that?
I'm not sure that he's not that.
A minute ago you were sure what he was.
Hold on, Bill. Hold on. Okay, because I've been...
You were.
It's a fact.
Extreme high likelihood, given the fact that he said to his family that Charlie Kirk was too hateful, is that he was not a Groyper, because the Groypers would have said that Charlie wasn't hateful enough. Okay, let's be very, I know this movement. Okay, when it comes to, the point that I'm making is there are permission structures that have been created in certain areas of our politics. And in particular, there is one on the left that is, again, very far radical left, trans Antifa Marxist. And then there are two that are semi on the right, white supremacists and radical Muslims, depending how you decide that you're going to actually categorize those things. The thing that all these groups have in common is a structure, a philosophical structure that says there is a system that is targeting me. That system is a system of power, and it is deadly to me. Therefore, I am excused in using violence against that system.
That's right.
That's the thing all of these movements have in common. And that we need a cognitive behavioral therapy in our politics that says that that is not true.
That's right.
That if I say a man is not a woman, that is not a genocidal threat to you. That if you say that you have a differential policy on immigration, that is not a threat to me. And again, I don't think that those permission structures are equally distributed across the political spectrum.
I mean, I think you are projecting your own intellectual, rational world onto people who are not living in that universe. But I want your thoughts on this.
What?
I think in part,
Ben and Bill, they make a good point right here. And it's what I've been saying on my channel for 5 years.
Now let's talk about the other horrible violence we saw this week. And of course, this is the kind of violence that happens every day to lots of people of all races and so forth. This happens to be a white girl on a train who was killed by a black man, so people are making a lot out of that. But this happened in Charlotte, North Carolina. It, to me, is tailor-made for Republican victory because the mayor there in Charlotte,
True.
Of course, she said prayers and thoughts go out to the victim. And then she is not villainizing those who struggle with their mental health or those who are unhoused.
Unhoused.
She couldn't resist giving a shout out to the mentally deranged homeless demographic.
Criminals.
I'm just going to say the Democrats are going to lose another election if they don't get it. You can say homeless and crazy. We could say those words.
Yeah.
And you can come out against this fully. You know, why not just do a land acknowledgement before you say this, for fuck's sake? And the guy who did it.
She probably did.
Had been arrested 14 times. I mean, this recidivism, this is Trump's next low-lying fruit, I'm sure. Because when you look at some of the stats of people, I mean, like in Washington, D.C., they say 500 people are responsible for 70% of the gun violence. What is the point of arresting?
A small amount of people are responsible for the majority of all crime.
Of the gun violence. What is the point of arresting people if they go right back on the street?
It's all I did. That's all I did was arrest people. Thousands. Involved in thousands of arrests. None of them are in jail.
What is the point of mass transit if nobody feels safe on it?
Yeah. We don't deserve to live like this. I don't deserve to live like this.
The idea that you're going to leave people on the street because they are crazy is so benighted. Honestly, it's cruel to people who are severely mentally ill.
Yep.
Truly. Like leaving a bunch of people who are schizophrenic, homeless schizophrenics on the street, not taking their drugs is not good for them. It's not good for society. And releasing people back onto the streets after 14 arrests. And then you know what the mayor said? She said, you know, we can't incarcerate our way out of this problem. Well, actually, you can.
Damn right.
It turns out that you can.
It's certainly part of the solution.
Institutions is the solution.
Well, I mean, they're talking now, Trump, I think, is talking now about bringing back in what we used to call an insane asylum. I'm sure that's a terrible word.
Anybody that lives on the street means they're mentally ill. Apprehend every single one of them, and they don't get out until they feel better. That's what you do, guys. Do you remember? Do you remember growing up? You used to walk from one end of town to the other end of the town. 3 a.m. And you ran into nobody. And you felt safe doing it. But no, we got shelters now. We got free drugs. We got resources. Users are no longer losers.
And the fact that, you know, we let this situation, again, Trump takes advantage of all these things that Democrats just let fester. That life, you know, on mass transit becomes this game of Russian roulette, where you are on the streets, many places, where you just have to dodge and just accept the fact that there are some nutty people out there who could do God knows what.
Look out when you go out.
Could I make a suggestion to the Democrats? Get out ahead on one of these issues. Pick the insane asylum issue. Get out ahead on it. 90% of New Yorkers I read, they're for that, getting the crazy people. No
Damn
kidding.
right.
It's the one area where the right wing is like, you know, big government, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? Like more funding for involuntary commitment for people who are mentally ill.
That's
Gavin
right.
Newsom, who's now ahead in the polls, told you. Told you. He's for it.
Gavin Newsom's for it. Why don't you just do it? Apprehend them. You can.
What will it take to break the spell for the Democrats? before they can get out ahead on this, because I know what's going to happen. They're going to be the Johnny-come-latelys, as they always are. After Trump demonstrates in the polling that they're behind him on this, like taxes on tips and all those other ones, then they're going to come along and go, oh yeah, no, we're us too. And that never works.
Well, Trump has a magic power, which is if he says something, the Democrats must take the other side of the thing.
In Canada.
So if he says crime is bad, Democrats are like, well, is it though? Let's give it a second thought. Maybe it's like we can. Maybe it, it's a thing that happens. We can't incarcerate.
They're not saying that, but this was a good example. All right.
Ben is funny, and this part is funny. Harris is coming out with a new book. What's it called?
The book is called 107 Days. Wink, wink. That's all. It's all the time I had to win. Just 107 days.
Only there were 108.
Yeah.
Who would have gotten there?
And she only had $1.5 billion. I don't know how she could have cut and get a message on. But what does the panel think of Kamala Harris's admission that it was reckless to let Joe and Jill Biden decide on his re-election bid? Yes, this is the big takeaway from the book, is that she says, Joe, we kept saying, she says like a mantra, it's their personal decision. And now she's saying after the fact, well, actually, it wasn't really just a personal decision. It did have some effect on the country.
What if there was an amendment to the Constitution, say like the 25th Amendment, that allowed the Vice President of the United States and the other cabinet officials to recognize that the president was brain dead and actually do something about it? And what if you then just sat there and did nothing until Joe Biden had his head cave in, basically, on national television in a debate with Donald Trump and stare into the great maw of death off screen with a frozen grimace? And then you still waited a month for him to drop out.
It wasn't that bad. It was. Let's not.
Watch us.
Let's not rewrite the history. It was a terrible debate performance from an elderly man, excuse me, who in the quiet of the Oval Office had not lost his marbles and was still able to make decisions among his staff, okay?
Well,
That's who we were dealing with.
We don't know.
Was he able to run? No. Was he able to do the job?
Or bike, by the way. He was.
Or bike, yes.
Well, we don't know if he lost his marbles because he doesn't know how many there were or how many he had to find.
I have to say,
Again, this is why the country will never heal, because nobody can ever just come.
But the tough thing about the Harris book,
Only he's allowed to
is
joke. Big fan of Ben Shapiro, of course. Guys, we've got friends coming over. Yeah, we actually have one. Have a great night. Subscribe. Bye-bye.